We all lie to ourselves sometimes, and it holds us back. I convinced myself that this hair was appropriate.
Awful.
It's bizarre.
Then I shaved my head, landed this chick, and got a ring. This year, the play-in games are causing teams to lie around the league. They should sell off their good players to build for a ring in their future. Instead, they'll go for the 10 seed and get swept by the Nets. Wonderful. Well, this video explains what teams should do at the deadline, but what they'll probably do instead. Yo, it's Casey. Welcome to AM Hoops. I used to be on TV covering the NBA for years, but now I am here with you helping it all make sense. And right now, people are predicting a quiet March 25th deadline because of the play-in game. Look, I get the value of making the playoffs, don't get me wrong. Helps a fan base, great experience for young guys, keeps stars happy, but the smart thing is to sell. Teams will get a ton for players because there aren't many available. It's supply and demand. Demand is up, supply is down, so prices skyrocket. Instead, some teams are too afraid to sell, like our first team, the Atlanta Hawks. They should sell, but will hold. John Collins should be traded. They couldn't agree to a contract this summer. Nothing has changed. He could walk for nothing. I think Atlanta will do nothing because their front office guy, Travis Schlenk, is afraid to lose his job, and they are afraid of Trae Young. You know he'll throw a fit if they miss the postseason. The Celtics should and will hold. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum are their only consistent players. Look, Jeremy Grant was my number 2 impactful trade in the video linked in the description, but say no if Detroit asks too much. No to Nikola Vucevic, no to Evan Fournier. Boston should wait till after the season to use their trade exception. Next, the Nets should and will buy. Teams have called on Spencer Dinwiddie. Great, get that rim protecting big, because even though they're winning, I'm not convinced they beat the Lakers in the finals. The Hornets should and will hold. The Hornets are my favorite team to watch this year. Gordon Hayward plays like an all-star, a fun young roster led by my rookie of the year, LaMelo Ball. They will make the playoffs without a trade, so keep the chemistry going. The Chicago Bulls should be sellers, but they'll hold. Let's be honest about the Eastern Conference. It sucks. They could make a trade and still make the playoffs. The lack of sellers is going to drive up the price of guys like Thaddeus Young, so they should go for it, but I think they want the playoffs so bad they'll do nothing. Next up, the Cavaliers should and will sell. But if the Cavs don't trade Larry Nance Jr., my head will explode. I've actually seen Cleveland fans saying not to do it. They're getting offers of multiple first-round picks. Look, I get that he's a good two-way big, but this is the exact reason the Heat or the Celtics want him. Don't lie to yourselves, Cleveland. Trade this man. The Dallas Mavericks should and will hold. Kristaps Porzingis has been injured and awful on defense this year. This would be the worst time to trade him because his value is so low. Look, if KP plays like he did against San Antonio, great. But the whole fact that his name is in trade talks means the Luka KP experiment probably failed. The Nuggets should and will buy. They need to make a small-ish trade, like for Kyle Lowry or PJ Tucker, but Michael Porter Jr. is legit. I'll link a deep dive on his growth in the description, but it's key for Denver to cash in young assets because their window to win is now. The Pistons should and will and already have been sellers, duh. The Warriors should and will buy. Bob Myers even said they'll, quote, be aggressive. I'm scared they won't be aggressive enough. They should move James Wiseman and Minnesota's pick for a big name. I said it, but I doubt it happens. A playoff push this year is nice, but really it's all about next season when Klay is healthy. If they can swing Porzingis for a low enough price, do it. The Rockets should and will sell. Every night the Rockets win, which hasn't been for a while, their fans should cry themselves to sleep because if their pick is in the top 6, they keep it. So move every guy who could win you games. Victor Oladipo, PJ Tucker, Eric Gordon, everyone but Christian Wood. Cade Cunningham would look real nice in Rockets red. The Pacers should and will hold. Look, this is a slightly above average team, but I want to see how Karis LeVert changes that. I think Indy makes the playoffs and can wait until after the season to move guys like Miles Turner. The Clippers should and will buy. Of course, they need a point guard. We've talked about that forever, but it'll be tough. They'll have to flip Lou Will to get anything. The Lakers should and will buy, but they don't have many options. Reports say they have not been impressed with Marc Gasol. I predict a buyout player to join them. Andre Drummond, possibly LaMarcus Aldridge are my picks. The Grizzlies should and will hold. They could trade Gorgui Dieng for a second-round pick, or Brandon Clark, Justice Winslow, and 3 firsts for Zach LaVine. None of that, though, really improves this team in the future. Memphis should hold now and wait for a superstar to demand a trade. The Heat should and will buy. I love rumors about Larry Nance Jr. What about Kelly Olynyk and a first for Thaddeus Young? They need a stretch 4 in the worst way. The Bucks should buy, but they'll hold because they have to. The Bucks are being passed up by Brooklyn and Philly in the East. They should improve, but they can't because they've got nothing to trade with. No one cares about Pat Connaughton or Dante DiVincenzo. The Bucks will probably roll with this roster in the playoffs. The Timberwolves should and will sell. They have got to keep that pick that went to Golden State. Any game they win threatens that, so sell. The Pelicans should sell, but they're gonna hold. And this is what frustrates me about the Pelicans. They don't have a plan. They haven't since the offseason. JJ Redick and Lonzo Ball are on the trade market. Then they play well, so they're off the trade market. This is a team that doesn't actually have a strategy. They just change their mind depending on the last game. The Knicks should buy, but they'll hold. This is a great spot to take on a bad contract for assets like picks, because New York's got cap space. This offseason doesn't have any free agents anyway. The Knicks should use that to their advantage. The Thunder should and will sell, but it'll be tough. I mean, who is taking Al Horford's $28 million contract? Mike Muscala is more realistic. By the way, at some point, Sam Presti actually has to build with all these draft picks, right? The Magic should and will be seller. The Magic are the most boring playoff team I can remember. This year, their best young players are out with injury. They should get the most in a trade for Vooch, Terrence Ross, Aaron Gordon, Evan Fournier. I really hope they do. The Sixers should and will buy. Joel Embiid will not be out long enough to change their plans. Trade for PJ Tucker or Kyle Lowry. This could be their year, but even Sixer fans don't trust this regular season. They need a move. The Suns should and will buy. Second best record, Frank Kaminsky is starting. That really says it all, but I think they should look for a backup big behind DeAndre Ayton, even though Dario Saric has been awesome. The Blazers should buy, but they'll hold. Look, Dame and CJ, not getting any younger. They should be all in to win, but the issue is trading anyone but Rodney Hood is a bad idea. I would love, though, a LaMarcus Aldridge reunion in the buyout market. The Kings should and will sell, and if they don't, I'm done with them. They could set an NBA record for worst defensive rating. De'Aaron Fox, Tyrese Halliburton look like a core, so it is time to ship Harrison Barnes and Buddy Hield. The Spurs should sell, but they'll hold because they're the Spurs. Here's my plan for the Spurs. Sell off DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, get young players or picks in return. They've got a lot of cap space this summer. It's not like they're attracting big-name free agents, so instead, they get someone promising with those 2 trades and re-sign them to build. The Raptors should and will sell. Someone is going to be desperate for Kyle Lowry, and it'll set them up for the future. I predict Masai Ujiri will say he's heartbroken that Kyle Lowry is gone, but inside he is laughing his head off because someone paid a haul for a 34-year-old on an expiring contract. The Utah Jazz should buy, but they'll hold. Another case of hard to get a deal done. They've got a great chance to contend, but probably won't deal because they can't shake up this chemistry. It would take serious guts to trade a role player, even Derek Favors, to improve. We all know the Wizards should sell, but they'll obviously hold or even buy, because as long as they have Bradley Beal, they're going for the playoffs. The Wizards are the definition of a team lying to themselves when the whole world knows the truth. They suck and should sell at the deadline.